Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode on the Ochakde show. Today, I have one of my homies. He's actually my classmate. His name is Rishi, and he is a EDM producer and is 15 years old. In fact, he's an official artist channel on YouTube. So, Rishi, how are you feeling, and do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Rishi. I also go by Sycobox. I am a 15-year-old music producer, as you said. I am mainly into dubstep music, and I've been doing this for almost, I would like to say, 2 to 3 years, at least seriously. And yeah,
What is exactly like EDM, and how do you get into that field?
so EDM is a music that is a genre of music, sorry, that typically uses artificial sounds, such as synthesizers, to create music, and it's generally usually upbeat. Like most of my songs are a little bit usually over like on higher tempos, so they're pretty fast. Um, and then how I got into it, it was mainly so basically how I got into music production first was I went to a summer camp in when I was in, I would like to say, first grade, called Stephen Cates. And I when I did it, right, they had like this little area where they used to have like MacBook Pros with I think it was GarageBand. Yeah, it was GarageBand. And they used to allow kids to make music in like these tiny studios that they owned. um and I originally started off with just like messing around with random loops, putting it sounded absolute trash, but it was just like for fun. I just used to put in random sounds. And then eventually I got into a game called Geometry Dash that a lot of producers now hate because it's a very annoying game. But pretty much I got into that game, and then I got like really inspired by the music in that game, because all the music from that game are from different artists that post their songs on this website called Newgrounds, which is like an open source. I think like it's an open source website where there are some copyrighted songs, but like they have to put like a agreement saying I allow my music to go on Geometry Dash. So there was a lot of artists I met, or like got inspiration uh from that game, right?
I
And
see.
then I started like, yeah, I want to kind of make music like this. So I started like doing random stuff on GarageBand, trying to figure out the basics. And then I actually got FL Studio 20 in my sixth grade summer year, and I started messing around with that. And then I've been using that up until now. I recently got Ableton, but I'm not too sure if I'm going to use it yet because I'm like switching between FL Studio and Ableton. But yeah, that's how I really got into EDM, and I'm pretty happy about it now.
Yeah, that's truly amazing, man. It's again amazing to have you on the show as well. And those were the days. I remember Geometry Dash. That was actually a really fun game when we were younger, and the music surprisingly was actually really good. Is the music in Geometry Dash EDM or?
Technically, yes, a lot of it is. There are some songs that don't use EDM music, or some levels that don't use EDM music, but a lot of it is EDM music. At least the main levels, those are technically EDM.
I see. How about you share with the audience what Sycobox? It's a super cool name, but what Sycobox is and how you thought of that stage name.
All right. It's a really weird story. So basically, I originally started off with the name Stickbox because I kind of wanted to make an animation channel. But then I didn't feel like doing animation because it's like a whole hassle to get a tablet and everything. So I started uploading music, right? So originally my name was djstickbox, and then eventually I was like, I don't like the name Stickbox anymore, and I thought of something more funnier, Psychobox, because a psycho means you're crazy, and
Yeah,
I make really like crazy music, I guess, in a sense. And box because just I don't even know why, but I decided to put box in it. And then I instead of putting, I wanted to keep the same initials SB and not change it to PB, and made it Psychobox, SYCO. And then now a lot of people just call me Sycobox as well, so I just take that as well. I don't really care, either way works for me. But yeah.
I see. So let's get straight to it, right? Again, don't take this the wrong way. We obviously love to have you on the show, but this show is for entrepreneurs.
Right.
We talked about this earlier. How does music and how does your music career relate to entrepreneurship?
So Being an artist itself is a whole thing. It all requires a sense. You need to have a sense of marketing slash entrepreneurship. One way that they really connect is, in a sense, your songs is a product. Your songs that you make are a product, and you want that product to be shown to multiple people, and that's going to be done through views. So, as a musician, you're technically considering yourself as a company of yourself. So you're technically a brand, and your brand is represented by your music. So you, in a sense, all music producers have like to get to be known as, oh, I know this guy, or while listening to some song, they'll be like, oh, this sounds like this dude. They have to develop a thing called a unique style. And your unique style is in a sense your way of like showing your product is different from others. And by doing that, other people can figure out that, hey, this guy's actually very talented and he has his own style, and he's in a sense marketing his own product towards us that might be useful, at least from a standpoint of a record company. Would be like, oh, this is pretty unique, and it seems like if we get this person on our record, he would be kind of useful. So they decide to pick up that person. So in a sense, record labels are kind of like investors to your music. So that's how it like usually works out, as a music producer connecting to an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I totally see that, and I can understand why you say that. I think actually, in my opinion, I think everything is entrepreneurship. Every single thing you do, making a social media account is technically entrepreneurship because you're marketing yourself to show others what you're doing and why they should follow you. So in my opinion, everything is entrepreneurship. Again, thanks for being on the show. So obviously you've had a lot of success, right? Guys, this guy has the official artist channel. He has a Google Acknowledgement panel. I think he has thousands and thousands of views on his YouTube channel as well. So how did you start? And for other people that also want to be musicians, what should they do?
So the first thing I would say to start off is start off with free programs. Especially don't buy, or if you want, you can buy like a DAW earlier, but don't go crazy on buying equipment and everything. Start off with the basics. Literally, how I started off was just a Mac, like an old Mac from my parents' office, that I used to borrow. That had GarageBand on it, and I used to just mess around with the GarageBand, put a random amount of for me, I didn't even have sample packs at the time, or I didn't even know what sample packs were. So I started just putting stock loops and randomly putting them together. And then eventually I started figuring out what MIDI is. So I started writing my own songs, or writing my own like notes into a song, and creating my own kind of music. And then eventually I started to figure out like the main technical aspect of music production, so mixing, sound design, figuring out how some synths work, buying my first ever like main synth, which was Serum. I love that synth, it's so good. I went crazy, and then eventually I started to figure out different styles of music that I'd like to do, and then eventually I stuck to one main style, or one, I would like to say my main style right now is color bass. Because it's like dubstep, but it's more melodic in a sense, but it's also merged, so it sounds really cool. So I would say for anyone starting off, start off with the basics. Pick up a free DAW. There, I can list some right now. There's Cakewalk, GarageBand, Reaper. Reaper is like kind of free, but not really. You can try the free trial of FL Studio. You just can't save anything, but you can export anything you want. Yeah, so like I'd say like start off with the free softwares, then eventually if you find like the specific software that you like the best, purchase that software and then learn that software. And then once you learn that software, start learning other things, or start getting, if you want, you can start getting third-party plugins, and start learning those. The more you learn about different types of sounds and how they work, the more like the easier it will be to put sounds together to make it sound like a musical track.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been hearing these two words a lot, GarageBand and FL Studio. Do you want to share what those two things are?
So GarageBand, FL Studio all go over this. They're all softwares called DAWs. DAWs are technically like an editing software except for music. So how would describe a DAW as is like the main station where you're going to be making your songs, or like the main place that would be arranging your music. It's like basically the what do you call it? What is it called? I can't think of the word right now.
It's
But
all good. Don't worry about it.
think about like Windows and running applications on Windows. It's like that,
Yeah.
but for music. So you're gonna be running apps into or running plugins into that, and then from there you're gonna be making your music. So arranging it and everything as well.
Yeah, the music industry has always it's been interesting to me, but from personally, I see myself as just a consumer. So how does it feel to be a producer than just a consumer? Like, did you ever feel that there's been a change? Like, 'cause there was probably a time in your life where you just enjoyed listening to music. Has that ever changed now that you're actually creating your own content?
I would like to say yes. In a sense, I can't listen to music the same anymore. I will, if I listen to music if I I try to be a consumer, right? In a sense, my mind starts going towards criticism. So if I like, there's a lot of old songs that had some like mixing issues that I cannot listen to anymore because it just bothers me. Some old dubstep songs had like these weird like drums that used to bother me now. Like I just can barely listen to it right anymore. And also as a producer, there's quite a lot of stress. Because you also want to please your audience, right? Because if one song does great and the other one doesn't, you're gonna have to like, you're gonna start thinking about, wait, what did I do wrong, right? Because maybe I did something wrong and I should probably change it. And also the problem with that is that a lot of things a thing that really affects all of us, or all music producers at least, is a thing called imposter syndrome, which is a sense of you thinking you're something that you are thinking of something that you aren't, in a sense. Like in a sense, like if you're thinking, you're basically having a really low self-esteem and you think you should be better, but the problem is that bar that is raised for you keeps going higher and higher, and when it keeps going higher and higher, you start getting dragged lower and lower. So like in a sense, think of this hand as your what you want to be, and this hand is what you think you are right now. As you keep like making music, it keeps going more like this. So keeps getting more spread apart, and from there you start getting more stressed about how you make music. And for some producers, that's the reason why they quit, because of their imposter syndrome. I really hope that doesn't happen to me, but I don't think it's gonna happen. And that imposter syndrome also leads to a thing called what's it called? Oh, I can't think right now. Sorry. Let me think. What's the name?
We can go to the next question if we want. We can touch
No.
back.
I almost got it. I think.
All right. I'll give you time.
Yeah, give me time.
Anyways, guys, while we're waiting, hit that subscribe button right now. Go do that.
Yeah, do that. It's called it's basically when your mind gets blocked. It's called like a music block. I can't really think. Writer's block. Sorry, writer's block.
Okay,
That's the
okay.
word.
I
That's
see.
the word. Sorry. Writer's block. It's like a sense of you just can't think anymore of music. Like you can barely think of what you should do. It's basically getting lost of thought.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, personally, as an entrepreneur, managing school and entrepreneurship, scheduling my meetings, finding guests for this show, meeting possible investors, it's definitely a journey managing school and what I do on the side. How do you do that for music and school?
How I do it, I mean, whenever I have school is my top priority. Because I at the moment, I don't know if this is going to become my future job or like completely become my future job. So I try to focus more on some like school than focus on my music. Of course, I do put in time. I at least put in like an hour a day into my music.
Awesome.
To make sure I can have like, in a sense, practicing what I learned so I don't forget anything. And I for school, right, if I have a lot of work that day in school, I will not go out of my way to not make music. So I will try to make something, but I'll definitely focus more on my schoolwork than anything else.
Yeah, likewise. I think definitely school is the top priority, and then what we do on the side. I mean, obviously, in the future, I want to continue what I'm doing right now, but I can definitely relate with you on that. So
Yeah,
speaking
you
about
gotta have a backup.
Exactly.
That's
But you
how
also
I.
have to have the mindset that
Yeah.
I'm going to do this no matter what people say. My dream should be actually what I think one of my goals is to make the Forbes billionaires list. And that's probably really hard. And a lot of people can say like Sachin, like, I think you're being a little delusional. But in my opinion, I think your dreams, if someone tells you that something like that's crazy, that's actually a good sign. So I hope to see a lot of, I already know you're doing really good. I hope to see more success. But let's speak about the stress involved. Why did you not give up? Has there ever been times where you felt like giving up, or have you ever gotten hate that's made your self-esteem go down? What has your experience been like? Because I know in high school there are a lot of different interesting types of people. And have you
Yeah.
ever had to deal with that?
Thankfully, at the moment, I don't really have many haters because I'm not super big, but I am like somewhat out there in at least the genre I'm looking for. But when it comes to stress, I've had like sometimes where I taken massive breaks from music, like 1 to 2 month breaks from music because I just could not think of anything, and that was mainly during summer. I explained my whole issue on my song. If you go to SoundCloud and you look at my song Invincible, I explained the whole issue of what I had for like the past 6 months after that. It was mainly because I released a song called Submergence, and people really liked that song. And the problem was I kept like trying to make a song like Submergence again, but I could not, or like I thought I could not, but my music was still like getting better than what I had made from Submergence, but I thought it was getting worse. So I took a massive break until I like
Mhm.
finally made something I really liked, which was Invincible. And I grinded and finished that. I think I finished that song in a week or 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm very happy with this. And I think it'd be a successor towards my previous song. So I released it and it seemed to do really good. So I was very pleased about that.
Yeah, man,
And
I really love that song.
yeah.
I can the link for that song is in the description below, so make sure to click on that, guys. Anyways, let's talk about thinking about music, like you mentioned. You have a very creative mind because I can't think of how to make something so catchy and so cool like you do. I know you take breaks, and that's something that everyone should do. But how do you find a way? Like, do you listen to other music and get ideas? Do you mix and match stuff? How exactly do you think about it? Because you have to have a very creative mind.
I feel the most important thing for music production, some people might disagree with this, but I feel like the most important thing is to have an inspiration. Um because I feel if you try to be someone, if you try to uh like compare, I say again, like you don't want to do it to the point where you start having like too bad imposter syndrome, right? But you want to have someone you admire, right? So someone you would look up to, someone you like listen to get inspiration and to get ideas from. For me, that's mainly two people, or two really big inspirations are Zim and Virtua Riot. They're incredible producers. And surprisingly, I have talked to Zim on Discord before as well, which was kind of cool. He's a pretty chill dude. But yeah, those guys are my biggest inspirations because their music is just extraordinary. It's something completely different. So I would like to try to be somewhat like them. And I want to make it to the point where I'm somewhat like them, but I'm also unique in my own way. So sometimes you can rip, if you want, you can rip chord lines from another song. I'm not promoting it, but you can. But I say if you do that, change it so it sounds different. You always want to change songs so that they're, I feel like in a sense you don't want them to be super like if someone listens to your song, they would say, oh, this sounds like another song, right? You don't want it to be too much like that. There'll be one or two people who will be like, oh wow, this kind of sounds like this, but you don't want it for everyone to see that this song kind of sounds like a ripped off from another song. So that's the main thing I feel that should happen when you're starting to create music, and that's what helps me to make my own melodies and make catchy songs like that.
Dude, beautiful way to end off the episode. Guys, find an inspiration. You can even comment down your goals down below and we can get back to you and see how we can help you. Anyways, thanks so much for being on the show. Where can people find you online, or how can they reach out to you?
So I have a SoundCloud, a YouTube, a Spotify. I have like, I'm pretty much on all streaming platforms. My main two ones are like SoundCloud and YouTube and Spotify. Also, I have an Instagram and a Discord. So if you have any questions about music production, don't feel free to like hit me up on Discord or Instagram. Just DM me. I'll probably respond. At least I'll most likely respond. Unless you're and asking me for something stupid, then I'll ghost you. Just kidding. But like, yeah, of course. Just like if you need any help, just make sure you can just hit me up on Discord, or you can even comment on one of my videos, and I'll probably look at them because I pretty much look over all my comments. I read them pretty much daily. So I even look at criticism because like sometimes I actually find them useful. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's definitely true. Yeah, sometimes
Mhm.
criticism can be useful. I mean, it is useful.
yeah,
Constructive criticism is, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways, what was your favorite part on being on the show? This is the question I asked all my guests.
Oh, actually, my favorite part of the show is just talking about music. It's just something I like to do. It's talking about music kind of brings a sense of like calmness towards me. Like I feel at peace when I talk about music. It's not something I feel super stressed about. It's not like a presentation for me because I do it daily, so it's like almost like I'm just speaking about it like how I'd usually talk to another person.
Yeah, that's how you know you love something, man. So, just guys, just so you know, like I know, like you think the music in the background of this episode is so amazing. All that music was made by Rishi right here. So be sure to support him. And thank you so much for watching the episode. Make sure to go for it and rise high. Ochakde means go for it. So really achieve whatever you're trying to achieve. Find a goal. Go towards that goal. Reach out to me if you ever need help. You can go to my website, ochakde.com. Thanks so much again. Sycobox. I love that name. And yeah, have a great day. Thanks for being on the show.
Peace.